I'm Colin O'Keefe, and this is LXBN TV, continuing our series on what President Barack Obama's second term means for various areas of the law. I'm speaking with Philip Gordon, chair of Lidler's Privacy and Data Protection Practice Group and author on their blog, Workplace Privacy Counsel. Phil, first, what do you expect to see in the realm of privacy law during Barack Obama's second term in office?
Colin, it's a great question. One thing that I think we'll see relatively soon are 4 new sets of HIPAA-related regulations: privacy, security, enforcement, and security breach notification. We've been waiting for those regulations for a long time, and I think the fact that President Obama was reelected means that those regulations are more likely to be published sooner than if Mitt Romney had been elected. Just an interesting historical note about HIPAA regulations. It's easy to forget that the original HIPAA privacy rule was published on December 28, 2000, just at the end of President Clinton's second term. And President Bush's administration actually instituted some significant changes to the HIPAA privacy rule after it came into office. So we're not going to have that process because there is not a change in the president. Second, I expect to see the National Labor Relations Board to have a pretty similar composition and to continue to be pretty aggressive in terms of applying the National Labor Relations Act in the sphere of social media. So that will be an interesting development too, or continue to be interesting developments. I am less optimistic, or perhaps I should say more skeptical, about there being a grand cybersecurity or federal security breach notice law enacted. We've been waiting for that kind of law for the last 5 to 7 years and haven't seen one. Right now, Congress has a lot on its plate, and I don't see it tackling major privacy and information security legislation. There might be more narrow subject matter legislation, such as dealing with credit checks or passwords, protection for social media accounts. But I really think the legislative action is going to be on the state front.
Interesting. Elaborating a bit on that, what specifically do you expect to see then at the state level in regards to privacy law over the next 4 years?
Well, the 2 issues that I mentioned that we might see some activity on the federal level, I think we definitely will see activity on the state level, and that is more states enacting social media password protection laws. We currently have bills pending in at least 12 states. The New Jersey Senate recently approved this type of legislation, and so we'll likely see something coming out of New Jersey relatively soon. Same thing with credit checks. There have been now 8 states which enacted laws restricting employers' ability to use credit checks for employment purposes. There are bills pending in 17 different states, and I would like to see some of those bills enacted into law in the next year or 2. So I think those are going to be 2 hot areas on the state level. And the third is more generally putting restrictions on the use of criminal history. There's been a lot of activity there. Most recently, interestingly, at the local level, the city of Newark recently enacted wide-ranging legislation limiting employers' ability to use criminal history for employment decisions. Ohio and Indiana recently enacted laws that, in different ways, have an impact on employers' use of criminal history, and I think that is going to continue also to be a very hot issue in the next year or 2.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting time for privacy law over the next 4 years to see if anything does indeed happen at the federal level, but if not, we can certainly expect to see a lot at the state level, of course.
I think that's right, Colin.
Definitely. Again, that was Philip Gordon of Workplace Privacy Counsel. For more of his insight, be sure to visit privacyblog.littler.com. And for more curated commentary on what Obama's second term means for the law, see our dedicated section on LXBN devoted to this topic by searching Obama second term and then clicking on the Obama's second term and the law tag. Thanks for your time, Philip.
Thank you very much, Colin.